So we are now post-All-Star break here in the 2025 campaign. As you can see, we have just swept the Pittsburgh Pirates coming out of that All-Star break, and now we are trying to be splitting here with the Boston Red Sox. Take a look at their roster. Few new names on there in the lineup. They've got guys like Nathaniel Lowe, who they picked up from the Texas Rangers at the trade deadline in 2022. That was season 1. They've also signed Anthony Santander to be a member of their outfield. They picked him up on a 3-year deal. They also traded for Ramon Laureano last year's trade deadline, and he's actually having the best offensive season of his career here in his first full year as a Red Sox. But very unfortunately for them, Tanner Houck, who's probably their best starting pitcher, is going to be out for a while with a dislocated shoulder. And if we take a look at their pitching side of things, that is a big blow because they have a very, very weak pitching staff. The best 2 starters on it are Sonny Gray and Kyle Hendricks, and neither of those guys are above 80 overall. The Reds traveling on down to Beantown to take on the Red Sox in some interleague baseball. Toeing the slab for the Redlegs on the day is going to be the right-hander Tony Gonzalez, making his 21st start of the season, the NL's ERA leader. And he'll be facing Connor Siebold, the right-hander, making his 13th start here in the big leagues this season. Take a look at the Reds lineup on the day, listed 1-2-9. We'll start things off top half of the first inning. Taylor Walls leading off the game. Boston wearing their Boston Marathon City Connect unis, and Taylor Wall's going to get things started here, going down the left field line and sliding into second base with a leadoff double. Unfortunately, he would then get picked off at second base for the first out of the inning, and then Crawford would do nothing. So now it's 2 outs. Tyler Stevenson at the dish, and he's going out to right center field, hitting one off the warning track, up over the wall. It's a ground rule double, brings on Ken Suzuki, and he's going out to left center field. Muscles will pitch down in the zone. Opposite way, gets up against the monster. It's going to be an RBI double, make it a 1-0 lead here for Cincinnati. Then it brings up Anderson. He's going out to left field. The throw from Santander to the plate. Not enough to get Suzuki, but it is enough to get Anderson on the back end. So 2 runs do come in for the Reds in the first inning. Move things on, bottom of the second now. It is Tristan Cassis, the first baseman, going out to right center field. Bloops in front of Merced, who cannot get to it. It's a single for the first baseman. Then it brings up Jarren Duran, and he's going to club a ball out to deep right center field. Merced ranging back, makes the catch over in the corner for out number, or now there's 2 outs in the inning. It's going to be a ground ball up the middle. Somehow Walls cannot get to that, so it's first and second here for 2 outs, and Travis d'Arnaud connects on a pitch, sends this one over the monster. The Boston Red Sox catcher with a 3-run blast here in the second inning, and just like that, the Bo Sox jump out in front 3-2. So we move things on, bottom of the third now. Nobody on, but Jonathan Villar, the former Red, comes up, going out to left center field, hitting one against the monster, bouncing up off it. He slides into second base with a leadoff double. Then it brings up Nathaniel Lowe. He pops up into foul territory. De La Cruz chases that one down for out number 1. Then it would bring up Bogarts. He grounds one over to De La Cruz. Easy play for him for out number 2. And then it would be Santander who comes up, grounds one up the middle. Walls ranging to his left. Play behind the bag. Very nice from Walls yet again. So still 3-2 onto the top of the fourth. De La Cruz laying down a perfect bunt. Uses his fleet feet to beat it out for an infield single. So it's 2 outs, runner on first, and then De La Cruz does what he does and swipes second base. Gets himself into scoring position. His 14th swipe bag of the season, brings up Luis Arraez, who's going to bloop one into center field, lands in front of Duran, and scores De La Cruz easily to make it a 3-3 ball game. They were not done there, though. Adrian Merced comes up, hit one over the head of Nathaniel Lowe. That one's going to get down into the corner, and it's going to be a double for Merced. So second and third here for Taylor Walls, and he's also going to lay down a perfect bunt. The right side of the infield was back. He takes advantage of it, and the Reds now back on top 4-3 in this game. Taylor Walls then goes and swipes second base, so 2 runners are now in scoring position here for the Redlegs with 2 outs. J.P. Crawford connects on one, rips it into right field. That's only going to score 1. They do not send Walls as well, so it's now a 5-3 Reds lead. Unfortunately, Tyler Stevenson would then pop one up into center field as Jarren Duran chases it down. but the Reds do have a 2-run lead now. Bottom of the fourth, Tony Gonzalez had it working. Trevor Story goes down on the big breaking ball. Then it brings up Bogarts in the sixth. Second out of the inning is him not able to hold up on the breaking ball for out number 2. And then it would be Anthony Santander, the bank, blowing the fastball by him, cannot hold up. That is 6 innings for Tony Gonzalez. Move things on to the 7th, where Landon Marceau, the LSU man, comes on here for Cincinnati. And first batter of the inning was Tristan Casas, blows the speedball right by him for out number 1. Then it would bring up Jarren Duran, the speedy Duran, as he's going to grab one over, or line one over to De La Cruz, who just snags it right out of the air for out number 2. Duran cannot believe it. And then for the final out of the inning, Trevor Story, breaking ball again, gets him swinging. So 5-3 is still your score. Move things on top of the 8th. Darwinzon Hernandez on the hill. Ken Suzuki committing some lefty on lefty crime. Absolutely jacked to right field. Tosses the bat up over his head. A solo shot for Suzuki makes it a 6-3 Cincinnati lead. DeAndre Foster will now enter for the bottom of the 9th inning, looking for his 12th save of the season. And he would do just that. The Red Sox did tack on 1 inning in the 8th, but Story does strike out to end the game here, as 6-4 is your final here at Fenway Park, as the Boston Red Sox drop one to the Cincinnati Reds here, who split with the Bo Sox in this 2-game set. Ken Suzuki picks up Player of the Game honors. He was 2 for 4 on the day with a home run and a double. De La Cruz went 4 for 4 at the dish. Walls and Crawford both went 2 for 5. 16 total hits for the Cincinnati Reds offense. They were surging on the day. Tony Gonzalez had a good day as well. 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 Ks, 1 walk, 3 runs, all of them on that 1 home run from Travis d'Arnaud. And before hopping straight into the next game here, we do have a few things to go over, one of them being the standings. The Reds are currently 4.5 games back in the wild card, sitting at 52 and 53 on the season. So if they win this game against the Marlins here, that puts them at 500 on the season, which I believe is the first time they would be 500 this whole year. And the Reds have decided to go ahead and extend a couple players mid-season here. The first one being Taylor Walls. Tried to do this in the offseason, but he did not accept it. We are instead going to be extending him for the last 2 years of his team control here at $3.3 million per. That is just for those 2 years of team control, though. Ideally, we do bring him back after those 2 years are up, and we do not let him hit free agency because we want Taylor Walls to be our shortstop. Also, Nick Lodolo is going to be extended here for 3 years at $7 million per. That is 2 years of team control plus 1 year of free agency bought out. That'll sign him through his age 30 season. And then if we take a look at this Miami Marlins ball club, this is a team that made a huge splash in the offseason, but for whatever reason, it has not paid off. They are 47 and 58 on the season, closer to the cellar of the NL East than they are of actually competing. And if you look at their team, it really makes no sense. Their lineup is stacked. Jazz Chisholm, Carlos Correa, Pete Alonso, Jesus Sanchez is very solid. Akil Baddoo's been very good throughout the series for them. Sam Hilliard is a very highly rated outfielder that they picked up from the Rockies. They're pitching, no slouch either. It's not like they're all hitting, no pitching. Probably one of the best 1-5s in Major League Baseball in this series. And it's also not even like their bullpen's that bad. Pretty solid, like mid-70s guys across the board. And then Giovanni Gallegos as their closer, who they picked up in the offseason. It's genuinely shocking that this team is not even able to compete in the NL East. The Reds still on the road here as they travel down to Florida to take on the Marlins here at Lone Depot Park. On the hill for the Reds on the day is the flame-throwing right-hander Hunter Green, making his 22nd start here in 2025. And on the hill for the Marlins is the left-hander Trevor Rogers. 21 starts, 3.37 ERA for him. Take a look at the Reds lineup listed 1-9. We'll start things off top of the 3rd inning here with 1 out and Adrian Merced Merced going El Scorcho up the middle. He's on first base there to keep the inning, or to extend the inning, and it's going to be him swiping second base as well, doing what he does on the base paths, getting himself into scoring position. So now it's Walls of the dish, 2-2 count to him, unable to pull the trigger. A perfect slider there from Trevor Rogers rings up Walls. Then it brings up Crawford, who unfortunately is just going to weakly pop one up into left field. Correa chases that one down, and it's a scoreless frame for Rogers. In the bottom of third, Hunter Green got to work. Gary Sanchez whiffing on the slider. Then it brings up Avisel Garcia. He's going down looking. Pair of shoes up there on the fastball for at number 2, and then Jazz comes to the plate and grounds one over to Crawford, who makes the easy play. 1-2-3 inning for Hunter Green. Move things on. Bottom of the fourth, Pete Alonso hitting a ball to deep left field here, and it's going to be tracked down by Alex Call, so nothing going for the Marlins there. So now bottom of the fifth here, it's Jesus Sanchez getting a fastball off the arm guard. Somehow he's fine, so he'll take his base there to lead off the inning. And then it's going to be a little hit into the left center field gap here from Akil Baddoo, the next batter. That drives in Sanchez, and the Marlins strike first. It's 1-0. So runner on second base, it's Sam Hilliard. He's lining this one past De La Cruz down into the corner. That scores Baddoo, who's got the fleet feet, and it gets Hilliard into second base with another double. 2-0 Miami. Then Green would clutch up a bit, gets a ground ball from Gary Sanchez. Garcia comes up, dribbles one down the third baseline. Very nice barehanded play from De La Cruz for at number 2. And then Green would proceed to get Jazz to line out into right field. Anderson barely has to move right into his glove. So he makes the play out and right, and then he comes up in the top of the sixth and gets robbed by Sam Hilliard, who makes the diving play to rob him of a hit. Absolutely insane diving play there from Sam Hilliard, who could definitely be a center fielder, but they have him in right field, making the diving snag there. So still top of the sixth here. Tyler Stevenson going out to right center, but this time Hilliard cannot get to it. So that's down up against the wall. It's a double for Stevenson here with one out in the inning. And then it brings up Ken Suzuki, grounds one right side. Alonso flips to the covering Rogers for out number 2. Runner moves up 90 feet. Brings up De La Cruz, and he unfortunately just pops one up to second base. Nothing going for the Reds. So move things on. Top of the seventh here, Nolan Jones hitting a sky-high fly ball into center field. Somehow this bloops into no man's land. It's a single for Nolan Jones. One on, nobody out for Alex Call. He's going to poke one out into center field. Bloops in front of Sanchez. Back-to-back singles here for the Reds. Brings up Adrian Merced, and he's going right back up the middle just like he did earlier in the game. That's going to score a run. Merced's going to move with the second base on the throw. So second and third here in a 2-1 ball game after the RBI single. Dylan Floro now enters the game here for the Fish for the 21st time out of their bullpen. And Taylor Walls grounds one to first base. Alonso steps in the bag, but a run comes in to tie it up at 2 here. Now it's J.P. Crawford at the dish. One out, flying a ball to center field. Sanchez puts it away, but the runner from third does tag up to score here as the Reds jump out to a 3-2 lead. So their first lead of the game here, they would take that into the ninth inning where DeAndre Foster enters the ball game looking for a save, and with one on, he gets a ground ball to the right side. Crawford ranging to his left from the outfield grass, throws out the runner, and that is your ball game as the Cincinnati Reds win this one here 3-2 over the Miami Marlins here at Lone Depot Park. With that win, the Redlegs are now 500 on the season for the first time all year long. Adrian Merced gets Player of the Game honors for a 3-for-4 day at the dish. A gritty come-from-behind win for this Reds ball club. 3-run seventh inning, some timely hitting for the boys from Cincy. No decision for Green yet again. And it is now time here for the 2025 trade deadline. We are a team that's in a very interesting spot here. We just got to 500 on the season here. A couple days later now, it's the end of July, and we are ready to make some moves here. Did not want to be going out and just giving up a bunch of guys on our farm here, because we still are a young up-and-coming team. We're not trying to trade away the farm and get some big pieces that are going to be here for like 1 or 2 years. We're just trying to get like maybe a couple rentals or something, just some guys that can help us out here with our playoff run. or a playoff push, rather, I should say, because we are still actually trying to secure a playoff spot, and that is definitely not a given thing. So the first trade the Reds went out to make was picking up Lane Thomas from the Washington Nationals in return for Alec Willis and Clint Frazier going to Washington. The left field position for us this season lately has been McKinstry and Call platooning. McKinstry playing against right-handed pitching and Call against left-handed pitching, while Call just hasn't been good, and McKinstry is regressing to the mean lately, not doing what he was early in the season. So I figured we needed to pick up a left fielder here to be a solid corner outfield bat for us, and Thomas is exactly that. Great discipline to his profile, elite contact versus left-handed pitching, more of a swing and miss guy with some pop against right-handed pitching though. Some speed to his game as well, definitely fits into our profile of what we're trying to do here. Having a bit of a down 2025 with a slugging that is, but still getting on base a good amount at a 345 clip. He's also an expiring contract, so we're probably not going to be bringing him back at the end of the season, so it's probably just a rental here for Lane Thomas. And in return, they get Alec Willis, who is a starter we got from St. Louis in Season 1. He's developed pretty nicely. Washington adds a good young arm to their organization. And they also get Clint Frazier, who could pretty much just slot into where Thomas slot into what Thomas was doing for them at the major league level, and they also get some more team control with Frazier than they did with Thomas. The second and final trade we made here at the deadline was picking up Spencer Brickhouse from the Arizona Diamondbacks in return for Max Schrock. Since Johnny Fagan hasn't really been as good of lately, he's not slugging at all as a first baseman, I figured that we would want to add a first baseman who could potentially be a pretty good player for us. And there were a couple other guys that I looked at, like Ji-Man Choi, who's like very old now and is regressing, and I thought maybe he could come in and be the guy, but I wanted to go out and get Spencer Brickhouse because he is a guy I've noticed throughout the league leaders in AAA, like every single season of this sim, just tearing things up, always having a great OPS, always doing well down in AAA and the PCL, and they just never give him a shot. In real life, he actually did retire. He actually never got past high A in real life. But in this universe, he is going to be playing in the big leagues here for the Cincinnati Reds. They already have a younger B potential first baseman in the system as well, basically the same overall, the same type of ratings. So we get a 26-year-old C potential first baseman in Brickhouse, and they get Max Schrock, who could be a good pickup for them. Definitely going to be playing way more in Arizona than he would for us. He's 30 years old, but his ratings are still very good, still has a B potential, can play multiple positions. Definitely a optimal change of scenery type player. So if we take a look at the new look Cincinnati Reds lineup here against right-handed pitching, it's Lane Thomas in left field, Spencer Brickhouse at first base, and Ken Suzuki at DH. Same positioning against lefties, but it just lineup is shifted around a bit differently, while Nolan Jones and Alex Call were the guys going down to AAA to make room for Brickhouse and Thomas. And if we just take a look at some of the other trades around the league that have happened, there haven't been too many notable ones, but of course, right after we trade for Brickhouse, the Arizona Diamondbacks go and trade their Major League Baseball first baseman in Gavin Sheets to the Milwaukee Brewers. So now they're going to be playing that other guy who was the prospect I was talking about. And Anthony Rizzo, another first baseman, goes from the New York Yankees to the Texas Rangers. He goes there because they are, I believe, in first place, while Dustin Harris and Evan Carter go to the Yankees. Dustin Harris was just recently in the Futures game in real life. Dodgers get Kevin Newman from the New York Yankees in return for starting pitcher Andre Jackson. And then last but not least is the Rays sending outfielder Luke Raley to the New York Mets in return for starting pitcher Calvin Ziegler. So we are now here into August on the season, sitting at 59 and 55 here, 7 games back in the division, and only 3 games back in the wild card, 8-2 in our last 10. Things are looking up here for the Reds. Post-trade deadline, the Reds travel out to sunny San Diego here to take on the Padres at Petco Park. Stuart Bradshaw, the left-hander, making his 8th start of the season here. He's actually been quite solid through 7 starts since coming up from AAA. And he will be facing their ace in the right-hander, Jack Flaherty, making his 24th start. Take a look at the Reds lineup listed 1-9 on the day. We'll start things off here. Top half of the first inning, Taylor Walls at the dish. He's going to rip a ball into right field. A leadoff single for the most electric man in baseball. So he takes the first base there, and then he goes and swipes second base to get himself into scoring position with 1 out in the inning. It is Lane Thomas at the dish, an 0-1 count to him, and he's going to power a ball out to right center field, gets down into the gap there, scores walls easily, makes it a 1-0 Reds lead, and Thomas is not stopping at second base. The Lane train gets himself into third with the triple here. Welcome to the Reds. So a 1-0 lead here for Cincinnati. Bottom of the first inning. Big Stu is going to give up a little bloop hit from Raimel Tapia there. So he's on first base. Now with 1 out in the inning, it's Fernando Tatis Jr. hitting a ball into center field, and the fleet-footed Tapia is going first to third, even on the throw from Merced with the weak arm out there in center. So runners on the corners here. Machado comes up. He's going to fly a ball to deep center field. Merced ranges way back and makes the catch, but Tapia does tag up to make it a 1-1 ball game here. So we're all tied up. Top half of the second, De La Cruz ground ball. Jake Cronenworth making the diving play, and nothing else going in that inning. So top of the third here, Taylor Walls hit on the shin. He's fine, luckily, so he'll take his base, and he's on first. Brings up J.P. Crawford, and he smokes one out to left field, but Tapia ranging back somehow makes the catch there, and Walls is going to get doubled up on the bases because he thought it was gone. Once again, that happens to me because I can never read the fly balls in this game. And now bottom of the third, Big Stu ringing up Nomar Mazara there for out number 1. Then it brings up Tapia at the top of the order. He whiffs through the slider. That's 2 Ks in the inning, and then there's no way Big Stu is going to do it. Well, he does. Garrett Cooper comes up, and he goes down. Up and in fastball. He's a pair of shoes up there. So still a 1-0 game here, or 1-1 game rather. And in the bottom of the fourth here, Tatis. Long fly ball in the left field, and Lane Thomas, doing his best Aaron Rowand impression, runs into the wall, makes the catch. The newly acquired Cincinnati Red, and then Stu strikes at Luke Voigt on the up and in fastball, whiffing through it. So Stu working here. Top of the fifth, Ellie De La Cruz, ground ball to third. Machado knocks it down, but he has no play on the speedy De La Cruz over at first base. He would then go and swipe second base, gets himself into scoring position here with Adrian Merced at the dish with 1 out, and he takes a 1-2 pitch out to left field. This time it's going to actually leave the ballpark. A 2-run blast for the major contact hitter, Adrian Merced. Makes it a 3-1 lead here for the Redlegs. So still top of the fifth, Taylor Walls hit by pitch again, this time in the thigh, so he'll take his base. And unfortunately, when he goes and tries to steal second, they pitch out and they're able to get him for out number 2. So then Crawford, 2-0 count to him. Smokes one out to deep right center field, but Trent Grisham making the catch, robbing Crawford of extra bases. So bottom of the fifth now, Grisham at the dish. He's leading off the inning with a walk. So he'll take his base. Next batter up will be Luis Campusano, the catcher. Also draws a walk, so some control issues here for Bradshaw. First and second, nobody out. Brings up Nomar Mazara. He gets plunked on the elbow, and now it's going to be bases drunk here for San Diego. Raimel Tapia, fly ball into center field. Merced puts it away. They do tag up the runner from third base, and he is going to score because Merced does not have a great arm, so it's a 3-2 ball game here. Garrett Cooper then pops one up to the infield. Brickhouse comes to put that one away for out number 2, and then it's Tatis up with 2 on and 2 outs, blooping one into right field. Anderson coming on, the throw to the plate. Dead meat is Campusano. Nothing going else for the Padres. Reds remain in the lead here, 3-2. So top of the sixth, Brian Anderson making the play in the field. And now here in the sixth, making a play at the plate. Left field seats. A solo shot for Brian Anderson makes it a 4-2 lead here for Cincinnati. So Ryan Weathers comes on in the 8th here against his former team, making his 40th appearance of the season. And Fernando Tatis keeping the inning alive, going out to right center field. He's got the fleet feet, so he's able to easily get into second base there with the double. Then it brings up Machado, as he's going to go up the middle of the big hole there. Scores Tatis easily. It's back to being a 1-run game now, 4-3. So top of the 9th here, Lane Thomas at the dish. facing Contreras, and he's going out to right center field. That's going to hop up over the fence for a ground rule double, so he's in scoring position here. 1 out, it's Spencer Brickhouse, as both new acquisitions are coming through here in the 9th inning. Thomas is going to get driven in by Brickhouse on the RBI double, makes it a 5-3 lead here for Cincinnati. DeAndre Foster enters the game with a 2-run lead, and he was absolutely dominant, picking up his 18th save as he strikes out Luke Voigt on the big sweeping curve there for out number 1. Then it brings up Trent Grisham. He's going down on that nasty 92-mile-an-hour sinker. And then for the 3rd out of the inning, it's Campusano looking 100-mile-an-hour cheese up and in. He's a pair of shoes. Foster strikes out the side, and the Reds win this one 5-3 over the Padres. Lane Thomas, one of the new Reds, picks up player of the game honors, went 2 for 4 in the day with a triple and a double. Adrian Merced had a 2-run home run. Brian Anderson had a solo shot, and Big Stu goes 5 innings, only 4 hits, 7 Ks, 2 walks, and only 2 runs given up by the Fathers. So with that being said, that's going to wrap things up here from this edition of the Cincinnati Reds franchise here on MLB The Show 22. I've been your host, Jersey Born, and I am saying, the ESPN Jeter propaganda is just sickening stuff.